But first, by the end of this evening, Australians will have heard from two leaders, but there's little doubt which one will have the most impact and which one is the real deal. President Zelensky, the Ukrainian leader who's just addressed our federal parliament by video link from his embattled capital, risks death daily in his fight for freedom and independence. All Anthony Albanese risks is losing another unlosable election because he can't give voters a compelling reason to vote for him. Granted that it's sometimes easier to lead in a crisis because the usual critics tend to fall away, Zelensky has won admiration right around the world for showing the sort of clarity and courage that we crave in all our leaders, but so rarely get. Contrast him with US President Biden, who 48 hours into Russia's invasion offered Zelensky a helicopter chopper out to safety. No, he said, I want weapons, not a ride, which says everything about Biden in offering an escape and everything about Zelensky in rejecting it. At 7:30 tonight, Labor's opposition leader will get to his feet in the House of Representatives and outline his plan for an Albanese government. And with an election now only days away, there's a whole lot of interest in what he will say, although if Albanese is predictable, it won't be much. We know he'll support the budget's cost of living measures, while also saying they were his ideas anyway, they're all electoral bribes, and they're too little too late. He'll accuse the government of leaving us unready for the health, economic and security challenges ahead, without specifying how he'd fix them, other than throw more money at problems. And he'll condemn the government for its record debt and deficit without any plan of his own to deal with it, and trying to gloss over Labor's appalling fiscal track record. He'll say his team are ready, that he's got plenty of talent and ministerial experience, but he won't be able to tell us who will be his defence minister if he wins, or his new border protection minister, because he doesn't get to choose them, his factional bosses do. Still, an opposition has two jobs. First, to expose the failings of the government, and second, to identify what would be different and better were the government to change. Albanese has been quick to complain about what others have done, but very slow to tell us what he might do instead. In fact, he wants to coast into government, telling us what he supposedly won't do, not what he will do. He won't rush to make us a republic, he says, even though that's long been a part of Labor's platform. He won't hit us with taxes on retirees and investors that Labor promised last time round, he says, even though he's previously supported death taxes and wealth taxes. He won't close down the coal industry, he says, even though he said that coal has no future, and on Labor's past form, he'll do whatever deal it takes to form government with the Greens. He'll turn boats around to protect our borders, he says, even though he's previously said he couldn't. Clear as mud, isn't it? A small target strategy is all very well for an opposition that has no convictions, or convictions they'd rather not share, but it's only a very gullible electorate and a biased media that would take all of that at face value. Just because Labor would rather not give us an agenda now doesn't mean there won't be an agenda later should they win government. Of course there will. There'll be a big agenda. Labor just doesn't want to tell you about it before you vote. There will be, quote, more action on climate change, and this will be in a carbon tax by stealth on almost every mine and large manufacturer. There will be higher taxes on the so-called rich, justified as closing loopholes or anomalies in the treatment of capital gains and franking credits. Watch out, superannuants. And political correctness will run rampant with even more identity and gender politics and turning Australia Day into Invasion Day. Look at Joe Biden in America. He campaigned as a centrist, but has governed or tried to govern as the most left-wing president in history. We know the good and the bad of Scott Morrison because he's had 4 years at the top for us to get to know him. How well do we really know the opposition leader, even though he's been in public life for 26 years now? 26 years to end up the unknown man who could be soon the most powerful in our country. Like you, I don't like surprises. Tonight, will we see the real Anthony Albanese? Will the real Anthony Albanese stand up? I hope so, because no one should be our country's leader by default.